Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gone Legends. In today's video, we remember two beloved figures who left us recently. Artists, actors, and creators whose lives changed entertainment forever. Before we begin, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Now, let's celebrate their remarkable stories.
Born November 29, 1976, and gone too soon on August 28, 2020. An American actor whose presence was quiet, powerful, and unforgettable. Chadwick was not simply a performer. He was a storyteller. A man who carried dignity in his voice, strength in his eyes, and purpose in every role he accepted. He grew up in Anderson, South Carolina, raised in a working-class family that believed in faith, discipline, and education. As a young man, he dreamed first of writing and directing. Acting came later, not because he planned it, but because life has a way of guiding those meant for greatness. He attended Howard University, where his talent was nurtured and sharpened. There, he was encouraged by mentors who saw something special in him, something rare. One of those guiding forces was the legendary Felicia Rashad, who saw the spark of a man destined to change cinema. Chadwick didn't chase fame. He chased meaning. And meaning is what he brought to the screen. He portrayed legends, Jackie Robinson, James Brown, Thurgood Marshall, not as icons, but as human beings. He stepped into their stories with care, humility, and depth. He didn't just play roles. He honored lives. Then came the role that would forever echo his name, T'Challa. The Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, became more than a movie line. It became a cultural heartbeat. For the first time, millions saw themselves reflected as royalty, as warriors, as heroes. Chadwick gave the world a vision of black excellence that was bold, proud, and beautiful. But behind the camera, he carried a silent battle. In 2016, he was diagnosed with colon cancer. And for 4 years, he worked, he acted, he traveled, he inspired, all while fighting for his life. He never announced it. He never wanted sympathy. He chose strength, grace, and service. Even in pain, he visited children battling illness. He comforted others, while quietly enduring his own suffering. On August 28, 2020, at the age of 43, Chadwick Boseman took his final bow. The world mourned, not just the actor, but the spirit, the king, the brother, the son. His legacy is not measured in years. It's measured in impact. Chadwick taught us that purpose is greater than prominence. That greatness is quiet. That a true hero is not defined by how long they live, but by how deeply they touch the world. He is gone from the earth, but his light has not dimmed, because legends never die. She is the woman whose smile could light up an entire generation. A symbol of grace, authenticity, and timeless charm. Her name, Julia Fiona Roberts. Born on October 28, 1967, in Smyrna, Georgia, she grew up far from the glittering lights of Hollywood, in a quiet southern town where dreams often felt too distant to touch. But even then, something about Julia shimmered, a spark, a warmth, an invisible glow that one day would captivate the world. Her parents, Betty Lou and Walter Grady Roberts, were both actors who ran a small theater school for children. Their home was filled with creativity and love, but not with money. The family struggled financially, and when Julia was just 4 years old, her parents divorced. It was a painful separation that split her childhood into two different worlds, one of dreams and drama, the other of quiet resilience. And then, tragedy struck. When Julia was only 10 years old, her father passed away from cancer. The loss carved a deep mark on her soul, a wound that time never truly healed. She would later say that her father's death made her understand something most children never think about: the fragility of life and the urgency of love. Growing up, Julia was tall, slender, with a wild head of curls and a shy smile. She was often self-conscious, unaware that one day, that very smile would become her greatest power. Her classmates remembered her as kind, funny, and a little reserved, a girl who loved animals, music, and daydreaming. For a while, Julia wanted to become a veterinarian, not an actress. She loved caring for creatures who couldn't speak, perhaps because she understood, even as a child, the beauty of quiet compassion. But fate has its own script. As her older brother, Eric Roberts, found early success in acting, Julia began to imagine a similar path. She moved to New York City at just 18 years old, with only a suitcase, a few dollars, and a heart full of hope. She enrolled in acting classes and signed with a modeling agency, not because she wanted fame, but because she wanted a chance. New York was tough. Casting directors overlooked her. Jobs were scarce. But Julia never gave up. She kept auditioning, kept learning, and most importantly, she kept believing. There was something about her, something magnetic, something that couldn't be taught. Her first few roles were small, minor appearances in TV and low-budget films, but even in those short moments, she stood out. It was only a matter of time before the world would notice her. And then, it happened. In 1988, she starred in a small film called Mystic Pizza. Julia played Daisy, a fiery, passionate young woman working in a pizzeria. It wasn't a blockbuster, but audiences were drawn to her immediately. Her smile, her laughter, her naturalness. She didn't seem like she was acting, she just was. That was her magic. Hollywood took notice. And suddenly, Julia Roberts, the shy girl from Georgia, was on every casting director's list. Then, in 1990, came the film that changed everything. A modern fairy tale that would forever define her, Pretty Woman. When Julia stepped onto the screen as Vivian Ward, opposite Richard Gere, she didn't just play a character, she embodied an entire era. Her warmth, her humor, her vulnerability, they weren't written in the script. They came from her heart. The world fell in love, completely, endlessly, and forever. Her laugh became legendary, her smile iconic. Pretty Woman became one of the most beloved films of all time, and Julia, at just 22 years old, became the new queen of Hollywood. But fame, as always, came with a cost. The spotlight that once felt like a dream now became a burden. Cameras followed her everywhere. Her private life became public property. Every relationship, every heartbreak, every smile was analyzed and sold. Julia, the young woman who once dreamed quietly of helping animals, now had to navigate the noise of global fame. She once described fame as a beautiful gift wrapped in sandpaper. And she was right, it glittered on the outside, but underneath, it could cut deep. Still, she remained grounded. Behind the glamour, Julia was humble, honest, and deeply human. The early 1990s brought more success: Steel Magnolias, Sleeping with the Enemy, The Pelican Brief. Each film revealed a new layer of her talent: the vulnerable daughter, the courageous survivor, the brilliant thinker. Her performance in Steel Magnolias earned her an Academy Award nomination, and audiences cried with her, laughed with her, and fell in love with her all over again. But while her career soared, her personal life was often turbulent. Her relationships became front-page gossip. Her brief marriage to country singer Lyle Lovett in 1993, and its quick end, became tabloid fuel. The pressure was relentless. The world expected perfection, but Julia was human. She once said, "You can't be happy every day, but you can be true every day." And that truth kept her going. In the mid-1990s, Julia took a step back. Fame had drained her spirit. The cameras never stopped, and her health began to feel the weight of exhaustion. So, she disappeared for a while, to rest, to breathe, to remember who she was. When she returned, she came back stronger, wiser, and more radiant than ever. Her comeback film, My Best Friend's Wedding in 1997, was pure magic, a perfect balance of humor, heartbreak, and charm. Then came Notting Hill, Runaway Bride, and Erin Brockovich. It was Erin Brockovich that changed everything again. Playing a single mother fighting corporate injustice, Julia delivered one of the most powerful performances in Hollywood history. Her grit, her heart, her fire, it was all real. That role earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress in 2001. When she stood on that Oscar stage, laughing and crying at once, the world saw a woman who had not only conquered Hollywood, but had conquered herself. And just as she reached the peak of her fame, she walked away. In 2002, Julia married Daniel Moder, a cinematographer she met on set. Together, they built a life far from the chaos of Hollywood. They moved to New Mexico, where the sky was wide, the air was quiet, and life was real. There, Julia became a mother, to twins Hazel and Phineas, and later, a son, Henry. She often said, Being a mother is the most important role I'll ever play. Her days became filled with laughter, homework, cooking, and simplicity. No red carpets, no flashing lights, just love. Motherhood changed her profoundly. It gave her peace, purpose, and humility. She began choosing roles not for fame, but for meaning. Films like Eat, Pray, Love, Wonder, and Ben is Back. Stories about healing, family, and hope. Each performance carried a piece of her soul, raw, honest, and human. As the years passed, Julia embraced aging with grace. She never chased perfection, she chased peace. Yoga, gardening, and quiet mornings became her rituals. She valued health over beauty, laughter over luxury. She once said, "Happiness isn't something you chase. It's something you build." Her life became a testament to that truth. She supported charities quietly, visited schools, and funded causes for children's health and education, never seeking attention, never asking for credit. She believed kindness should be silent but strong. In an industry obsessed with youth, Julia Roberts stood as a symbol of timeless authenticity. She showed that true beauty isn't about age, it's about heart. Her smile, still radiant, still genuine, became more than a trademark. It became a message that no matter what life takes from you, love and laughter will always bring you home. Today, Julia Roberts is more than just a Hollywood legend. She is an emblem of endurance, of balance, of joy. Her journey, from a small-town girl in Georgia to one of the most beloved women in cinema, is not just a story of fame, it's a story of faith. Faith in herself. Faith in love. Faith in life. She has lived through triumph and heartbreak, through glory and solitude. And through it all, she has remained radiant, real, and full of heart. Julia Roberts once said, "The key to life is to keep laughing." And maybe that's her greatest secret. Because her laughter, that unforgettable sound that once filled theaters around the world, still echoes today, reminding us all that joy is the truest form of beauty. To Julia Roberts, the dreamer who became a legend, the icon who stayed human, and the woman whose smile will forever light up the world.